Hi all. So quite excited to share that the roadmap for Singularity Finance will be out shortly. So Singularity Finance, our goal has always been to build an AI-centric DeFi platform. And working along that initiative, we've started to work on a platform that will enable our users to explore, earn, invest, and trade the AI economy. We have very close to launching a couple of product features around these themes. So we'll start with the explore side, where we've already launched the dashboard functionality. So users can come in and basically get a portfolio view of their token holdings on the platform. This is already live. Now, while this was just a starting point, we are essentially going to kind of enhance this whole functionality by integrating a chat interface as well. So this chat interface is powered by the ASI one LLM and will allow the users to basically question their portfolio, start to understand how tokens are performing, and so on, right? And this is just the first step in that direction, where we'll continue to enhance the capabilities of the agent that's answering these questions. The next piece, right, which is on the earn side, is around vaults. So as you're already all aware, we already have two vaults which are in a closed beta state. So that's essentially the ASI ecosystem index vault and also a yield bearing vault. Now, while the vaults have been tested by closed set of members, we've also been actively working with Paladin, who are our security contract partner, and they have essentially been auditing all the contracts. The good news is that we are virtually done with the audit. We've already submitted the remediations, most of which have already been accepted, and we are in the final stage of basically getting the green light from Paladin to do a full launch. So as soon as that report is available, you can expect us to basically launch this the vault onto the platform and now fully available for all users. And again, as with the chat functionality, we are just a few weeks away from launching this as well. So we have an exciting few weeks coming up in terms of major milestones of how the product of SFI is evolving. A key theme of all these functionality is also to essentially kind of start working a lot closer with ASI chain. So with ASI chain coming into picture, we are positioning SFI to be the DeFi shard for the chain itself and essentially provide all the DeFi functionality that would be needed for the various projects that are working on ASI chain. So with that, I'll probably hand over to Ben to kind of talk more about the ASI chain and other initiatives that we have planned for SFI.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks a lot, Ram. And the ASI chain, which is one of the major initiatives underway at the ASI Alliance. I mean, this has a lot of aspects to it, but the tokenomic aspects are among the many significant parts. And the work that we're doing in Singularity Finance is going to be instrumental to making the tokenomics of the ASI chain ecosystem that we're creating really function and flourish. So the ASI chain is going to be really the first truly AI-centric blockchain. I know there's a lot of people talking about AI layer ones and decentralized AI. Of course, we've been doing decentralized AI in SingularityNET since 2017-18, as have our partners in ASI Alliance. I mean, Ocean and Fetch since not too long after that. But what we're doing with ASI chain is we're putting AI sort of into the guts of the blockchain, right? So we have a smart contract language called Meta, which we developed as part of our OpenCog Hyperon AGI system, and we're making this into a smart contract language. And this allows us to run little teeny bits and pieces of AI code on chain, right? And this lets you be much more flexible in how you decentralize your AI systems. Like you can have one neural network where different little parts of the network are owned and controlled by different people, right? And this is the same infrastructure you need to make things like multi-party computing and homomorphic encryption really work, like interleaving blockchain and AI very tightly. So chain as a whole technical aspect where we're putting blockchain and AI together quite deeply. But there's also a tokenomic aspect, which is going to be quite interesting. So the ASI chain network will be divided into a number of different shards, which can run different sorts of products on them. The shards can even run different consensus mechanisms if you want to, which can be valuable sometimes. Like if we make a shard running, say, a high frequency trading DEX, this can use a consensus like Casanova that supports very high speed transactions among a stable set of powerful nodes. If you want a network that lets random people on their phones in a mesh network do consensus, you want a ledgerless blockchain. That's a different shard. But even if you're using more vanilla consensus algorithms like the Casper consensus, which will be rolled out on the initial ASI chain shards. You may have an ASI chain shard that runs a network underlying a certain decentralized product. And what we're going to do then is a little bit like the subnetworks on BitTensor, but I think with a thoughtfully configured tokenomics, if I want to go that far. So people will be able to stake their ASI tokens on a shard of the ASI chain and will then receive rewards. Among these rewards will be some liquid staking tokens where each shard will have its own LSTs associated with it. And then the tokenomics of these LSTs is going to be quite an interesting thing. So if the nodes in the shard are generating revenue, which we hope they will be by providing services paid in ASI token, I mean, then some of that revenue goes to the shard as a whole. Now, some of the tokens coming to the shard as a whole as a percentage of revenue can be burned, thus likely increasing the value per token of the LST tokens. Some of these tokens can be put in a reserve pool used to buy back LSTs at a certain floor price in the case of bear market conditions. So there's a whole tokenomic scheme associated with the ASI chain and the liquid staking tokens associated with the different shards. And ASI is going to publish some stuff on that. You know, as the summer progresses, we're launching the testnet of ASI chain probably within a month or so, relatively soon. Then in between the testnet launch and the mainnet launch, we'll publish full detail on these tokenomics. But the initial relevance of this to SFI, which is the topic of this discussion, is, you know, there's a lot to manage with all these different tokens. You need to stake, you may need to unstake. These liquid staking tokens need to be managed. There may be bonding curves associated with the initial purchase of LSTs associated with a shard. So all the token management for these staking tokens and the staking process associated with the ASI chain is going to be done through the SingFi dashboard, right? And this is not the only use of the SingFi dashboard. It's quite general in its applicability to different sorts of tokens, and it can be quite powerful, in particular for the various SingularityNET and ASI Alliance ecosystem tokens all around. But it will be particularly useful for this tokenomic ecosystem associated with the ASI chain. It's going to be an instrumental part of this, right? So that's the baseline. Now, there's a number of other ways that the ASI chain and Singularity Finance will be interoperating as well. So we've been working a lot with the Singularity Finance tech team and then with Quantium, which is a spin-off of Singularity Finance, dealing specifically with applications of machine learning to quantitative finance, and with folks in Singularity Venture Hub and SNet. We've all been working together on a whole bunch of fantastic software for AI-based token price prediction, options pricing on altcoins and so forth. So risk management, all this AI DeFi stuff we've been doing needs servers, it needs processing power, it needs AI needs to run somewhere. So we can have a SingFi shard of the ASI chain as well. And here, as well as staking the ASI tokens, potentially we'll be able to stake dynasets of an ASI token plus a bunch of SFI tokens, right? So that, again, you have another additional utility for the SFI token, which is putting a dynaset staked on SFI shards within ASI chain. And if the AI processes running in the SFI shard make money, which they should if the AI is doing smart stuff, predicting the market and driving market making agents and so forth, if the AI methods on the SingFi shards make money, I mean, then this revenue goes in part to the people who have staked their tokens on that shard by escalating the value of the LSTs they've received as rewards, right? So there's a whole bunch of different ways that SFI is going to benefit from this ASI chain ecosystem. This also can help drive a couple interesting projects that we've been incubating in SFI for some time. It's sort of waiting for the right time and way to roll them out. You've heard a bunch about tokenized compute, and both Raam and I and others and Mario put a lot of cycles into how do we do tokenized compute in a way that is truly democratized, right? And I mean, you could do it in a security token way, but you're restricted to accredited investors, I mean, or large companies. I mean, it's not a terrible thing to do. I'm not saying we'll never do it, but with ASI chain, we have some interesting avenues for doing tokenized compute in a way that's fully democratized as well as decentralized in processing infrastructure. So we can have a compute shard of ASI chain. We can have machines from Kudos, from Singularity Compute, from Fetch Compute, and elsewhere. And then Singularity Finance can build the tokenomics of this tokenized compute shard. We can work this with liquid staking token rewards in a way that everyone can benefit from the tokenization of compute without it needing to be a security token, right? So it's a slightly different version of compute tokenization than some of the ideas we'd been tossing around last year and earlier this year, but I think it can be quite powerful and quite scalable. And we're also collaborating with NewNet, another SNet spinoff many you would have heard of, to add more and more fully decentralized compute power to this tokenized compute shard, whose tokenomics as SFI will be masterminding, right? And finally, we're even thinking of going back to the ancient prehistory of Cogito when we were looking at tracer coins, like stable coins that are more stable than fiat because they're tied to something else. For example, the value could be tied to the amount of energy needed to produce a standard basket of goods, for example. Then you have a sort of energy-backed coin. So this sort of stabler than fiat stable coin, I always thought was a good idea. Now that the position of US dollar as a global reserve currency is in decline, more and more people are seeing, well, wait a minute, what should a stablecoin actually be tied to, right? The idea is seeming more appealing to more people. Now, if we proceed with this, which I'm thinking about the right way to do, again, shard on ASI chain, running the AI tools that Singularity Finance creates in order to do the algorithmic stabilization of a fractional reserve stablecoin, the tracer coin, right? So there's a lot of cool things we can do here. And I mean, we're starting out with just the SingFi dashboard, giving people the ability to manage the tokenomics of ASI chain, but there's also a number of different shards that SingFi itself can launch or co-launch, all of which provide different utilities for the SingFi token, right? So we've got a spectrum of different utilities popping up here. I should also briefly mention Sint, the synthetic intelligent agents, which is a slightly separate project. On the other hand, it's sort of a feeder to the SingFi dashboard, and SingFi has invested in Sint and helped co-found Sint. So Sint is a very simple to use app with an AI agent that will talk to you, give you advice, help you post on social media, and help you manage your crypto transactions, right? And it can help you manage your ASI tokens, your other Singularity ecosystem tokens, and your liquid staking tokens from ASI chain. You can do simple tokenomic transactions just by talking to the agent, right? Really, really simple. I mean, you can do it while riding your bike to work, right? Now, if you need to do something complex, we'll pass you through to the SingFi dashboard that Raam discussed, right? So I think we've gone over a bunch of stuff here, probably too much, and I've always got one foot in the future, but I think Raam went over the near-term steps on the SingFi roadmap, which in themselves are quite exciting and represent, you know, the culmination of a lot of work that's been going on within SingFi behind the scenes for a long time. And I've then outlined some of the more ambitious ways these near-term deliverables in the SingFi dashboard are going to be used in close coordination with the rest of the ASI ecosystem, right? So it's a lot of cool applications and a lot of utility for the SingFi token, which I think is going to become quite healthy and more than healthy as all these applications are rolled out. And I really feel very excited by all this, and I feel like we're sort of getting back to the original vision of Singularity DAO as well as the original vision of Cogito. I mean, with the ASI chain plus Singularity Finance, we really are looking at decentralizing finance beyond just making, you know, DeFi casinos, but decentralizing the finance underlying a whole network of really valuable AI applications running on highly efficient decentralized network.
Just want to echo what Ben mentioned. I think, it's very exciting times for SFI in terms of what we're all trying to do. So we've been taking some small steps leading up to something pretty big, and, being associated with the ASA chain is going to kind of really kind of expand on the possibilities of, all the DeFi solutions and offerings that Singularity Finance has been building. So yeah, very excited to, be part of that journey.